judge has been suspended without pay for publishing political social media posts after being warned not to do so. Court documents show Judge Mark B. Cohen of Philadelphia County was suspended after repeatedly and continually posting political social media posts despite warnings from a supervisory judge.
So the documents say that Cohen's case was compared to a former justice who resigned and then was fined $50,000 for his misconduct with internet postings. Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes is here to be able to talk about all this.
So Khalif, I mean, they can still post on social media, but what specific ethical guidelines did this judge violate here?
Unlike the Supreme Court that seems to be, dodging
right,
a lot of ethics
that was
concerns,
on the tip of my tongue, but
most judges, every other judge that falls under them besides Supreme Court has a lengthy amount of rules that they have to follow. I mean, it's a landmine to touch in social media. Most of them may post pictures of their kids, and that's about it, but you're not talking about anything else. So you're asking, like, what rules did he violate, right? They list 8 of them, and it's kind of like Fight Club. Like, the first rule of Fight Club is not to talk about it. The first code of conduct for judges is that you can't violate the codes of conduct. So they hit them with the first one. You violated the rules, so you're guilty of that. And the last one says, if you violate any laws of the state, now you've thus violated the codes of conduct. So they hit them with that. But the biggest one is that it says, a judge should act at all times in a manner that promotes confidence and integrity and independence in the judicial system, and that should avoid any impropriety or the appearance of impropriety. So they go and list, I mean, this thing was 99 pages, the original complaint. Wow. So they're saying that they list every one of his posts. Most of them were left-leaning. Most of them were attacking former President Trump. Most of them were anytime someone made a comment about anything on the left, he was highlighting and he was reposting and he was saying, I agree, I understand. And so that totally undermines what you're supposed to do as a judge, which is to be right in the middle, call balls and strikes, not let folks know how you think. And he wasn't doing that, and they brought down the hammer on him.
I mean, it's just so surprising. I mean, it's no different than us being news anchors, and you don't need to have a bias. I mean, you just should know, especially at that level. But my question for you is, do you have other cases, especially here in North Carolina, that you can compare this to as to what we might be seeing?
Two cases I can look at. I mean, Justice Anita Earls, who still serves on our Supreme Court, got a lot of flack earlier this year when she was making comments about just changes within the judicial system, how it needs to be at least a look at and a magnifying glass into the disparate impact on different people that come before the court. The former Chief Justice also received that same thing when she appeared in a magazine and talked about, discrimination within the legal process. And that's just them airing their thought process about them sitting on the bench on a day-to-day basis, kind of perspective view. Those 2 cases I can think of most recently where our court was in the national spotlight, because those are the highest folks in our state, and they got judged across the board, and their inquiry started and was now swept away with Justice Earls.
You would think this would have been drilled in their heads of something that you just don't do, but maybe it's something they can't help themselves. But any potential implications for any other judges for social media posting?
Most of the judicial codes of conduct come from the American Bar Association, which is not the governing body, but they give out these rules, and then most states will adopt their own rules. And so these cases will at least be highlighted. They'll be footnoted. When you go to conventions, you'll see these types of things listed there, and you can say, hey, remember that case in Pennsylvania? Remember that case in California? All these cases are examples going forward on what not to do, specifically engaging in judicial conduct, specifically engaging in political conduct, where you're supposed to be avoiding that. Only time you're talking about politics if you're running for an office as a judicial official. Every other time, they're not touching that at all.
There's a lot to risk. Yeah. All right,
Whole seat.
Appreciate it. Exactly. Thank you so much for your insight.